listening to the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We are back. Took a week off. We're in a giggly mood tonight, but nonetheless, we got some wrestling to break down. Ryan's got a Scoop 5 for us, and we got Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and 2 PLE/pay-per-views to talk about this weekend. So a lot to break down. Make sure you're strapped in and ready to go. As always, I'm one half of your hosting team, Micah, otherwise known as Mr. Scoop. On the other end of the call, the historian of the Scoop Slam Podcast, he is Mr. Slam himself. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah, great to be back here with you. We're in the heart of May, the end of May, almost half the year's over, and we're ready to scoop it, slam it, talk about a little wrestling as we do on this podcast. How have you been, Micah?
I've been pretty good. It's getting hot. I'm not ready for this.
Very hot.
Living in Alabama, it has been nice the past month or so that it hasn't been just 90 degrees. And we've actually, God has been fortunate to us this year. And it's been in like the 70s and 80s between like March and April and most of May. And then this week, oh my God, I feel like I'm baking. And it's only like 90. So wait till it's like 105.
And it can't make up its mind, though. Like, we're getting rain every day now. And then it's 95 degrees after the sun comes out.
Yeah, we were, just at work today, like it was so hot just sitting there. And then a little storm came through and it was so cold. I was like, dude, this is like prime. Like the tornado is doing the like mosquito thing where it like rubs its hands together right now. Like this is just prime tornado weather.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting the rest of the summer.
Yeah. And hurricane season, I think, is about to come through. So, yippee!
Oh, yeah.
But it's a tornado and a whirlwind of things going on in wrestling. And I know that you stay up to date on all of that, Ryan. So I know you've got a Scoop 5 for us today. Go ahead, lay it out for us.
I do have a Scoop 5, Micah. Pretty much had all of them done. Maybe one got added on. So we'll talk about that a little later. But this was at the top of the list this week, Micah. They got everybody in a little tizzy online. Tony Khan, I believe this was on Twitter. He tweeted out, before AEW Double or Nothing, watch the buy-in free before the pay-per-view this Sunday. Your new co-hosts are Renee Paquette and Mick Foley. Foley coming back to TBS where he ran wild as Cactus Jack. Don't miss his first night in AEW on Sunday. Plus, see you for Wednesday night. Hashtag AEW Dynamite tonight. So, Micah, what is your reaction to Mrs. Foley's baby boy finally being all elite?
I'm happy for Mick. Seeing him get a payday is always a good thing. He's very charismatic. He always has been. I'm not gonna say that I'll just tune in to the buy-in to watch Mick Foley, but happy for Mick to get a payday. Respectfully, anybody asking for him to have one last match,
oh no,
seek God. Mick doesn't need that. So, yeah, man, I don't want to see Mick taking any bumps.
I can see it now, Micah. I'm predicting it. Mick Foley's out there cutting a promo, saying how it's great to be back here on TBS. Then all of a sudden, Darby Allin shows. He asked Mick Foley for one match. It's always been his dream to wrestle Mick Foley. And we get one last match. Mick Foley versus Darby Allin. Micah, you in for that? I go too far?
Morbid curiosity, yes. For the safety and sanctity of Mick Foley's life, no.
You remember that was supposed to be Jon Moxley's debut in WWE to the main roster was a match and a feud with Mick Foley. You remember that?
I did not remember that.
Yeah, it was strictly online. I don't think any of it made it to TV because Mick uh, failed his physical, but they had an altercation at a fan event in I think it was like right before WrestleMania or something like that, and they were gonna shoot an angle, but Mick couldn't pass his physical, so they never, ran with it on TV. But it was
Jeez.
supposed to be like John Moxley speaking up for all the wrestlers that tried to emulate Mick Foley growing up, and Mick ruining that generation of wrestlers, and because they tried to beat their body down like Mick did, or something to that effect, Micah. But yeah, I can see John Moxley finally getting that match against Mick
Uh,
Foley. Micah.
if anything, I'm cool with him making like a flash appearance in like the Stadium Stampede or whatever. Like they open a
Oh,
door and he's like behind it, bang bang, and then he hands somebody like a barbed wire bat. Cool, but
what? What? What's that? What's that? Did you say you want a conglomeration segment with Orange
oh
Cassidy
no,
and Mr. Sacco? Say less. We got you. Well, actually, I don't know. TKO, don't TKO own Mr. Sacco?
I don't know what they own for Mick actually.
I don't think he can use Mr. Sacco, but what would he call Mr. Sacco in AEW?
Mr. Pantyhose.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna workshop that one.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
on to the
yeah.
next.
On to the next. I saw this from PW Insider. The report came out that during today's WWE Town Hall, Nick Khan and Paul Levesque discussed the return WWE live events this summer, explaining to the employees that they have discovered house shows are important for the young talent to get reps in the ring and to experiment and try things in front of different live crowds. They stated it would be a balance of younger talents getting more experience in front of fans, established stars performing. They noted they wanted to find the right balance so as not set talents up for injuries. So, Micah, I ask you, how do you feel about the return of house shows?
Great news. It
Excellent.
gives a chance to, like you said, let the young guys connect with the audience. If a little kid, for instance, goes to the show and yeah, he watches SmackDown every day, but he gets to have a more like intimate fan experience if he lives in a smaller market like we do, with say like a Royce Keys or Ricky Saints. Well, now you've made a fan for life. And in that regard, that translates to the television, and it all kind of goes hand in hand. Plus, you can bring on some of the NXT guys like a Brooks Jensen. And sure, Brooks Jensen takes the pin to Bronson Reed on the show. But it's like, oh man, I liked that guy. Let me see what he's doing in NXT. So I feel like there's a lot of cross promotion you can do, as well as letting guys get their reps. I think one of the downfalls of wrestling after COVID has been the exemption of house shows. I'm glad that they started doing it in NXT, but I definitely think the main roster should be doing it to some extent. Obviously, the guys don't need to be working 250 days a year, and CM Punk don't need to be on every single house show, but like they said, there should be a happy medium.
Oh, it's definitely had an effect on the injuries that are just rampant in the business right now. Because these guys are rusty when they're getting in the ring, and you can tell. And having house shows, you would be working with the guy you're maybe going to work on TV in the next couple weeks, so you can work some things out, get some stuff ironed out, keep you sharp in the ring. I don't know if you remember this, Micah, but Undertaker, one of the biggest gripes he had for doing those WrestleMania matches is that he just came back so rusty, and he'd get injured by working that one match because his body just wasn't used to, just starting going 0 to 100 like that. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Micah?
And especially on the grandest stage of them all, and you got to work this one match, and everybody comes to see you at WrestleMania. So Yeah, I think it's great news. Like I said, especially for
Yeah,
the Royce Keys, the Obafemis, the Brooks Jensens that can get more reps and opportunities.
yeah, and it's funny how they're painting this like it's some new revelation. Wow, working house
Yeah.
shows is actually good for the wrestlers, huh? Bro, these guys at TKO, I'm sure they thought, oh man, we could cost cut by not doing these house shows. Probably thinking that WWE was a lot like UFC, but it's not. Wrestling is so much different than that. And it's good to see their course correcting. I wish AEW did house shows because
Yeah.
a lot of their guys just, I know that they can work indie dates, but they choose not to. And there's a lot of guys and gals that really need more ring time, man. And you can't just bury everybody on ROH to give them 3-minute matches to keep them, to keep their skills sharp. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's honestly evident with like a Jade Cargill, I thought she had one of the best matches WrestleMania weekend, and she's getting more reps now in WWE than she was in AEW. And especially, I know AEW hits some of the smaller markets anyways. Like, they're not just doing NBA arenas constantly for their TVs,
I think
but
they did Portland, Maine tonight for Dynamite.
yeah, which is positive if you ask me. Like, you're making fans in a region. We come from areas that don't get a lot of love nationally, and you're driving anywhere from 3 to 6 hours just to go watch a wrestling show. So I think AEW could really excel in that market if they would tap into it more, especially when it's wide open, because WWE is only doing like limited dates, but they haven't been doing any at all. You know what I mean? They could have been doing this way before.
Yeah, but we'll see. We will stay tuned. Hopefully, they come to our neck of the woods soon. But speaking of injuries, Micah, Willow Nightingale relinquishes her TBS title. She announced that due to an injury on her right shoulder, she is withdrawing from the Owen Hart Cup Women's Tournament as well as relinquishing the TBS, the TBS, the TBS Championship. So, Micah, this is a big blow for the division. Medium blow, small blow. What do you think?
I think it's honestly the biggest blow they could have, aside from maybe Tony. I personally have enjoyed Willow's work more than I have
Tony Khan?
Monet's. No, no, Tony Storm. And even then,
Oh,
I think I enjoyed Willow's more than Tony Storm's, but the she's got a big following, I'll say that. But I won't say we. I love Willow. I think she's been excellent. She is probably the most talented lady in AEW's women's division.
yeah.
I think it's ridiculous that she hasn't been a world champion. We had this discussion the other day, and now it looks like it'll be even longer. So that sucks. And right now, I just don't know who else you really go to. They have Statlander. She's been there for a while, but I just don't know that I see like, flag waving like I am the leader of this division with Statlander. I feel like she's had the ball a couple times. I don't think she's had a
They
fair
just,
shake,
yeah, I
but
was just about to say they don't book her to have promos or to have any feuds other than just having matches.
yeah.
Like they
And
give
that's
they give Tekla all the time in the world on the mic, but they can't carve out 5 minutes to have anybody else cut a promo in that women's division.
yeah. Well, and I mean even Willow tonight. Why was that a backstage segment? Like it's almost like they have government mandated time for the women. All right, you got 8 minutes in the ring, and we can only allot you guys like 7 minutes on promos. So you really got to knock it out of the park backstage.
And
It's just
only
ridiculous.
only one woman's promo in the ring. That can only be
Yeah,
done. Only one, and it has to be Tekla every week. If it's
that's what I'm
not
about to
Tekla,
say.
it has to be Tony Storm.
I tell you a dark horse that unfortunately could benefit from this is Athena because
Man,
they
we've been saying
need
this for years.
somebody.
Stop it. Stop. We've been saying this for years. What are you doing?
But who else
You know,
do
you
they
made that
have
video
now?
about you made that video about you checking in on the Finn Balor fans. I think you belong to that Athena fan base where you keep on saying, "Well, hey man, Athena would be perfect for this spot." It's just not happening. It's not going to happen. She's been champ for 2,000 days, Micah. She's been champ since Bruno was champ. It doesn't matter. She's never coming to AEW. She's not going to be a regular on Dynamite. It's just not happening.
But why? Like, I don't understand that.
That's something that we may never get an answer to. Might be an NDA following the release of Athena.
Saying Big Swole might have been on to something?
Mm. I don't know, Mike. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's not a platypus. Probably a duck.
Well, you said it. I'm agreeing. I'm co-signing it. But I say all that to say this. Losing Willow is a huge blow to the women's division. And we are praying for a speedy and fast recovery.
Did they?
And Tony Khan throw the world title on her when she comes back. It's that simple.
Well, what's that, pal? You wanted Kyrie Sane to make her debut? That what you wanted, pal? You like more? You like Joshi's, huh? I heard
It's
you
the
like
game
Joshi's,
changer.
Micah. That's the game changer. Her and Monet. Monet and Kyrie Sane, Micah. You remember they had that classic in New Japan?
See, and that was my so I didn't catch Kyrie really before because I wasn't back into wrestling yet. Like my first experience with her was that match with Monet, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah, okay. And
I've never been wowed by her personally. And admittedly I hadn't seen her stuff
think
pre-COVID, but like
I think her best match is still to this day, Micah, the match she had with Penta Dark and Lucha Underground in 2015.
a decade ago.
Oh,
Three
yeah.
presidential administrations ago.
And you know what? I was about to say she looks the same, but she does not look the same. She hasn't aged, but she's done something different with her face. I don't know. But we move on, Micah. I don't know if you've been following this situation, Micah, but apparently Baron Corbin has finished up all his obligations with some companies that he has been working with regularly, including MLW. He is believed to either sign by WWE or will be imminently, according to those that we have spoken to. And that is coming from Fightful Select, Micah. So I ask you this, Micah. Are you excited about the return of the King, Baron Corbin?
Please, for the love of God. Tom, if you're listening, I mean no disrespect to you, my man. I hope you
It's Tom.
get. I hope you. He's Tom. I think that's his
Okay.
indie name.
No, it's Bishop Dyer. I have you know.
Well, his Twitter name is Tom Pestock.
Okay, all right,
So that's what we're going with here.
all
Listen,
right.
man. I hope you get. Oh, what's that? Hold on, Tom. Hold on. Anyways, listen, man. I hope the paydays are plentiful, but I hope the paydays are not in WWE. I've
Oh
seen
man,
enough.
that's
I
it.
was not a Baron Corbin fan. I don't think we need to bring him back. I'm assuming close or over 40, and I'm just not feeling it. Now, I did see a tweet that he retweeted the post that said that from Fightful Select and said, "This is news to me. I had accepted 8 shows in Europe, and I also did not know that I was done with some of these companies. So whoever is making my schedule needs to let me know. I thought it was me, but apparently it's not."
You know, WWE's in Europe coming up.
Ah,
They got a
are we
European tour coming up.
are we working or shooting?
Uh well, you know what? A lot of people were complaining about 2019 WWE, saying that WWE's worse now than it was then.
Strap
Well,
in.
Yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet, folks.
Yeah, I've never been a Corbin guy. If you are, I'm happy for you, but I don't see what he adds right now, and I don't feel like we need that anywhere when you have such a talented group of young guys coming up.
You know, the rumor is that he's going to be the gingerbread. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the gingerbread man that Danhausen has been, I guess, working on SmackDown. So apparently, the gingerbread man is supposed to be Baron Corbin. I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt, but apparently that's what Sean Ross Sapp and Dave seem to think. So we'll see what happens. You know, those guys never been wrong, but do you think the gingerbread man gimmick would work for Baron?
I mean, Bum Corbin, I think worked. I don't think it was great, but it worked.
I think it worked more because Pat McAfee was on the call.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right, but
what? Yeah.
at the same time, and listen, I'm not this guy's like biggest cheerleader, but like we fired Aleister Black for Baron Corbin. That's letting go of Alex Caruso and keeping Taylor Horton Tucker. Like,
Bro, I would
what are
have
we
rather
doing?
them fire 10 more guys than to have Baron Corbin back on this television. Like, I'm being so serious, bro. I hated his run as the Constable Baron Corbin. I hated when he was King Baron Corbin. He was entertaining, like you said, when he was Bum Baron Corbin, but even then, that lasted like 3 months. Like, there has never been a more of a channel changer for me, more than Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
I still don't see it to this day what they saw in him. He debuted with like a balding skullet Micah. He had that little pudgy, like skinny fat look, and he was built to be like, some sort of biker badass type, but it just didn't translate. It didn't work. And he was so his mic work, which it was never there, and then they made him talk more, and then they made him the general manager, and then they let him retire Kurt Angle, and then the authority came out on television and blamed all. I don't know if you were following this, Mike, at the time, but the authority, I think it was Vince and Stephanie, came out on television and blamed all the bad television we've seen over that time period on Baron Corbin. I kid you not, they did that.
Were they
And it was
wrong?
like, I mean, they were right, but that wasn't all that was wrong with the show. But still, though, if you're going out there and telling the fan base that that we don't like this guy and you don't care, you're still gonna book this guy. At that point, man, it loses me. It loses me as a fan. Like, it makes me want to not watch. And now they're bringing this guy back, so we'll see what happens. But shout out Bishop Dyer. Maybe he'll get to keep his name. But yeah, welcome back.
Maybe not, but
You don't think
to
so?
get to I mean, maybe if they had like initially made him like a boxer or something, that might have worked. I just think it's
He had that
too little,
skullet,
too
man.
late.
Look up a picture of Baron Corbin
No,
debut.
I know what you're
You
talking
remember that?
about.
And then he had a little. He lost a lot of weight, man. So he had that skinny fat look going on. It just didn't work. I don't know what Triple H sees in him.
Well, let's pivot while I've got this bad taste in my mouth.
One last scoop, Micah. This came across my desk very late in the night. I saw this. Ludwig Kaiser apparently was arrested today. The report was actually, this is straight from the inmate roster. Marcel Barthel was booked in Orange County, Florida, on May 20th, 2026. And supposedly it is for battery, Micah. And we are still in the early stages. We don't know a lot, but is this gonna hurt Marcel Barthol or Ludwig Kaiser? Is this gonna hurt Ludwig Kaiser's push right before his biggest match of his career, Micah?
I think people are jumping the gun a little bit. It definitely depends on the circumstances. I heard another report from Sean Ross Sapp again, that said that it was with a male. That was my first thought. I was like, oh, good God, tell me he didn't hit a woman. Uh, but with this, with it being a male, I mean, it's definitely not the first wrestler that's ever gotten in a fight or a battery charge. And with the bond only being like $1,000, I don't feel like it's gonna be that crazy.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm getting. Well, hold up now. Allegedly, altercation was with an elderly man in his late 70s, apparently yelling "woo" in his face and threatening to kick his ass, Mike. So I don't know. Could be anybody.
Did he call him an
Bro, what-
Egyptian?
Man, can you imagine that it was Ric Flair?
That would actually be hilarious.
That would
Like,
be.
and it was in Florida.
If you don't know the story, ladies and gentlemen, Ric Flair went on Ariel Hawaii's podcast recently and called out Ludwig Kaiser about his comments about Charlotte Flair like a year ago during the Tiffany Stratton feud. And Flair did not take too kindly to Ludwig saying these things. So he called to threaten to beat him up. And apparently that's the reason why he being Rick, was not invited to WrestleMania this year, even though Rick, you're still under contract with AEW. They wouldn't have invited you anyway. But yeah, Ric Flair has apparently said it's on site when he sees Ludwig Kaiser.
And Ludwig took that personally. Rick started it. I'm finishing it. No, my favorite theory right now is somebody pressed him about being El Grande Americano, and he just refused those allegations and just knocked somebody out. I am not El Grande Americano. The best theory would be if him and Chad Gable got in a shoot fight.
Oh my God.
To sell the
Can you
gimmick.
imagine
That would be great. But I highly doubt that is what happened, obviously.
They took it to that extreme.
That would be great. I mean,
You,
there's no
they
telling
should run
today.
with it. They should go with it. You remember that? I'm saying you remember, like we were both alive, but like during the Von Erich Freebirds feud, I think it was Carey that got busted on drug charges during the feud. And then like a rumor started that it was Michael Hayes they planted the drugs on.
Yeah, I
and they
remember
went
that.
with it.
That's what they should have done for Jack Swagger at
There
WrestleMania
you go.
29.
Del
28.
Rio. He's saying Del Rio planted it on.
Yeah, Del Rio planted the drugs. It wasn't me.
You know what? It would make sense now, looking back.
Yeah. That's what I think we were talking. It was like, or no. Maybe I saw this on Twitter. I don't know what it was. Somebody said he was doing the full Lucha experience now. He's got the mugshot, the charges. I mean, it's
What else do you need?
yeah, it's not a good picture typically for the AAA mega champions, at least in Del Rio's case. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky
interesting.
situation. We'll see what happens. But you
Yeah.
know, protect the business. I like it.
Yeah.
In the mugshot, he's got no scratches on his face, so it looks like he won. I may come back to bite those words depending on the scenario, but on the front of it, if he just like punched somebody that was heckling him or it's a bar fight, good on him.
Yeah. That's what you got to protect the business, pal.
So we'll probably revisit this next week, and I have to apologize for my insensitive comments after he beat up 85-year-old Ric Flair, but here we are.
Send the video.
I'm sure there will be a video somewhere. If it was like public, like in a bar or something, oh yeah.
They just pull
And
out the obscure LeBron cam that they pull out during the NBA broadcast,
oh
and then we
man,
get the footage of it.
and
That's too
we
much of a
saw
deep
him
cut.
brawl. We saw him brawl Chad Gable too, so he could
Oh yeah,
throw
he played it
hands.
in. He was like, wait, nah, that was El Grande.
Oh yeah, you're right. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
come on now. Yeah, how dare
But
you?
I do think that people are jumping the gun a little bit. Oh well, he's gonna lose his push. I don't believe that.
Yeah, man. Jey Uso had a DUI literally 3 days before he was about to win the tag champions, and nothing happened. That was not his first DUI, by the way. He being
Yeah,
Jey Uso.
and it highly depends on the circumstances. But I mean, unless Ludwig just like beat the crap out of some random guy, like almost killed him or something like that, I feel like that really pales in comparison to a DUI. And again, like this is not uncommon for wrestlers. So let's not
Yeah,
jump the gun. We still got our mask versus mask match.
we'll be
Uh
there. We'll
we'll
be
be
watching.
there.
Yeah.
But I would like to say this. I apologize in advance if anything comes out and these comments were insensitive. Uh, we'll see. We'll be back next week, ladies and gentlemen. But
Yeah.
Ryan, you got any more on the Scoop 5 for us?
That is it, Micah. That will conclude the Scoop 5. And let's talk about. Well, actually, hold up now. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I see what you did there. We're gonna pivot to SmackDown, and we've got some Cody Rhodes action to talk about. But before that, we got the main event player, Mr. Lemon Pepper Steppers, Trick
Oof.
Williams, came home to Columbia, South Carolina, and the Gamecocks in their home arena. And man, what a presentation. He felt like $1,000,000. The fans blew up as soon as he came out, throwing the babies in the air. You know, they had all their, I guess, what do you call it? Pom poms? I think that's the term for it. He
They,
had Cocky with him.
I, I thought they had like the little towel things that they use for, like South Carolina football games. They use those type of towels before like the kickoff. So I assumed it was the same. They just passed them out before the entrance.
I think it was
Kind of like
towels now that,
their version of like the terrible towels that the Pittsburgh Steelers have.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, it was a crazy entrance, and I feel like every single week we see Trick just get that much more confident, that much
Yeah,
better. And I'm really loving it. I think he's one of if not the best part of SmackDown right now. SmackDown feels very like raw outside of the Cody stuff. That feels very similar. But there's a lot of changing of the guard happening on SmackDown. And I also, Ryan, nobody else is going to do this, but I'll do it right here in front of God and everybody. I'm gonna give you props because you were the only person that said, "Hey, this Lil Yachty partnership is actually pretty good, and I actually think Lil Yachty should stay with him." And every week, I'm like, you know
same.
what? Lil Yachty and Trick Williams is a good pairing. You were right.
Yeah, and they were giving him crap online too during the WrestleMania bill, saying that he was in the same category as Jelly Roll. And I'm like, nah, Lil Yachty is actually very committed, and he works side by side with Trick Williams. Unlike Jelly Roll did not fit beside Cody Rhodes. No disrespect to Jelly Roll, but he didn't belong in that Randy Orton Cody Rhodes feud. But Lil Yachty, man, just completes the package, and it's crazy, Micah. The people on the internet will make you think or make you believe that Booker T is the worst commentator in the history of wrestling, when that is legitimately the reason Trick Williams is where he is today. It took Booker T doing those little ad libs during his entrance, and that literally changed the trajectory of his career.
Yeah. And
He just grew more confident in the role, and people got more and more into Trick Williams. And you got that right now on the main roster. The presentation is still there, and that's the reason that Stephanie Vaquer came to the main roster over. Well, that and a couple more reasons, but the reason Julia is not in the same type of stratosphere as far as overness as a Stephanie Vaquer is because Booker T didn't have anything for her when she was in NXT.
yeah. And it's honestly, you can credit a handful of guys for
Joe
what
Hendry.
Booker has been able to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like Booker gets a lot, like you said, a lot of hate online, even though, and that NXT crowd too, they get a lot of hate, but that NXT crowd has made a lot of guys.
Yeah. Sometimes they try to get themselves over, but for the most part, they make or break the package that the Sean tries to book for the show.
Yeah. And so
They got
I
an
feel like
uphill
props.
battle with the Mason Rook thing, but we'll see how that goes.
Oh, we're not getting back on that topic. That was our topic.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I will say that NXT right now is interesting to me, even though they don't have necessarily as much like I'm not gonna say as much talent. I guess as much like surefire star power. But right now, I think that's kind of what makes NXT interesting. Is there's a lot of moving pieces that you're willing to check out to see how they land, like Mason Rook, or I'm not a big fan of the guy, but like Shiloh Hill. Now Saquon
Oh, yep.
Sugars is at a dark state. So it's kind of like they said on NXT, somebody's got to go grab that brass ring. It's wide open. And I'm excited to see who, Booker T and the NXT crowd make next. Because when you look at Trick Williams, that's what they could be one day.
Yeah.
But other than that, they had a little back and forth with the Miz and Kit Wilson. I thought it was, fine. Some people were complaining online about him and the Miz feuding, but like, I don't know, man. Miz, former world champion,
It's gonna be
where he brought up the balls.
yeah. It's gonna be very difficult to keep. Well, I don't even know if they're trying to keep him being tricked babyface at this point. It's gonna be hard to if he is still heel to keep him heel. Micah.
Yeah. I feel like they're running that territory with a lot of wrestlers right now that are
Yeah,
borderline. Like Roman and Jacob are both borderline babyface and heel. Now Trick's
that's
doing the
very confusing.
same.
Look at El Grande and El Grande on Raw. Like, who are we supposed to cheer for here?
Yeah. It's different audiences for sure. But I don't know. We'll see what the future holds for Trick. I'll kind of segue this heel babyface talk into some later stuff we saw on SmackDown. Now, Ryan, there was a segment later involving Danhausen. Did you want to touch on this, or was it more of the speculation in the Scoop
It,
5?
it was more the speculation in Scoop 5. I mean, you can hit it if you want to, but it was very odd situation. I don't know if you want to give like a brief synopsis of the situation.
I don't even really know. He's basically in some, the bowels of the arena or his own personal area doing some testing, and it's kind of tricky and hard to explain, but he's trying to revive the gingerbread man. Like you said, we talked about it a little bit on the Scoop 5.
You
It's
know,
not
I hate that we never got to cover that gingerbread man saga.
I think you were a little higher on it than I was.
Just the absurdity of it. They went so far with this, man. That whole funeral segment for him.
Well, keep the same energy when we talk about a chicken later.
Say
I
what now?
figure I figure you'll have an issue with it, but we'll get there.
Oh,
We'll get there.
okay, all right.
But yeah, Danhausen is cooking up something. This right here is maybe not my cup of tea, but the people love it. So
That's who's
only so
gonna.
much I
That's who's
can
gonna.
say.
That's who's gonna benefit from house shows. He's gonna be the most over thing on all those house shows with the kids.
Oh God, yeah. Let him go
Yeah,
out there for
he can have.
30 minutes and
Yeah, he can have a
gallivant.
good little comedy match on the show.
Yeah. But no funny business involving this guy. We've got the contract signing between Gunther and Cody Rhodes. Cody came out and set the contract signing up by himself. I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler do that, so I thought that was innovative a little bit.
They make the stage crew take a 50% pay cut.
I wouldn't doubt it. Guys, we got to get these house shows back going, so we can only pay you for those. But Cody comes out, impromptu sort of contract signing. He invites Gunther to come out. Gunther does come out, and they have a back and forth, but Gunther is really reluctant to sign the contract. We get an interrupting Royce Keys, who says, well, if you're not going to take the opportunity, I will. And then Nick Aldis steps in the way. We get a match later on in the night between Royce Keys and Gunther to decide who will face Cody for the WWE Championship at Clash in Italy. We'll talk about that match a little later. But Ryan, what did you think about this segment, and how did you feel about them involving Royce in this?
I thought it was an okay segment. Gunther, trying to play with his food a little bit. Maybe overplaying his hand, and Nick Aldis kind of calling his bluff, and Royce Keys seizing the opportunity, and now Gunther's trying to lock in, and well, it's too late now, pal. Now it's a number one contendership match. I like this, and it made Royce Keys look like a big deal, and he's only been on the main roster officially for maybe 4 or 5 weeks at this point, but putting him in main event segments with main event guys facing off against those type of guys, he fit right in. And we'll talk about the match later on, but yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything better than for a younger guy than to rub shoulders with Cody Rhodes and Gunther.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like you said, we'll talk about the match a little later. But before that, we've got another match between two young guys. One we're a big fan of here, which is Ricky Saints versus Carmelo Hayes. They had a little back and forth promo earlier in the show. Um, I thought overall this was a pretty solid back and forth TV match. It didn't feel like either guy had control for too long, which I like because that's not really the style, nor is it. It's not a dead set heel or babyface role yet for these guys. Carmelo's a babyface, but Ricky's kind of weaving a little bit of both. Um, and it's two guys that are at an even playing field right now. So I thought the match was pretty solid. I never like to see Ricky lose, but I thought the way that they did it was well here. Ricky went to steal basically the win with a pin, a leverage pin with his legs on the rope. Instead, Carmelo basically turns it around, does the same thing to him, and then Ricky's kind of caught with egg on his face because he can't be mad. He tried the same thing. So I thought it was a good match overall. What did you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I thought it was solid. It was a little clunky in the beginning, but once it got going, it flowed well, and the ending was pretty creative with Melo cheating to win. I don't like to see Saints lose, just like you, but I know a lot of Ricky Saints haters would eat good on Friday. So shout out them. But yeah, it was fine, man. Give you a little glimpse into what the future of SmackDown is gonna be. Ricky Saints is here to stay. He's gonna get himself over. Just give him a mic. They do that every single week. And quite frankly, he kind of outclassed Melo on the mic backstage, but we're not ready to hear that conversation, Micah. A lot of the IWC can't stand Ricky Saints, but yeah, it was fine for what it was, man.
Yeah. I mean, we knew Ricky was a better promo than Carmelo coming in, but
Oh
I
yeah,
really hope and pray they don't give him the LA Knight treatment of like never giving him a live mic because that's where Ricky really shines. And I feel like that's how he gets over because the reactions are still a little tepid right now. And it kind of pains me to see. It's still the same way for Royce. But I think that's just going to take some time. I do think this was a good showcase, but give my man the mic a little bit more. And
well, the top heel spot on SmackDown is wide open. Who's the top heel? Gunther, and then who would be the next up?
well, I was gonna say Trick, but I have no point or
I don't even
no.
think he's a heel anymore.
Yeah, so I
The
really
spot's
have no
there.
clue.
Yeah.
And speaking of a guy that I thought may end up taking that role, but we had some aftermath that may explain that. Gunther versus Royce Keys for the number one contendership match. We talked about it earlier, and you didn't mention this, but they mentioned the stat on commentary. This is Royce's fourth match on SmackDown, and he's in there with Gunther competing for a shot at a pay-per-view match with Cody. It doesn't get bigger than that in 4 weeks. Um, Obviously they like Royce or they wouldn't be putting him in these situations. I love to see that because this is a guy that me and you have been clamoring to see more of for years and more of a rocket on him. I thought the match was actually very beneficial to Royce as well because he was dominating a good portion of it, which is again crazy to see against Gunther, but the eye test lends yourself to Royce Keys. They also gave him an out for losing because Solo Sokoa kind of came in and meddled things up. Gunther ends up kind of stealing the win, so he kept Royce strong in defeat. But after the fact, Royce, or during, I guess, Royce turns against Solo, so that tells me or leads me to believe that Royce is gonna be a babyface. But we're babyface heavy on SmackDown, so what?
It-
What are they doing? What? How did you feel about it, Ryan?
Well, let me set the table first. Solo has been trying to recruit Royce Keys over the last couple weeks, and they had a backstage segment earlier on the show where Jacob Solo was trying to recruit Royce Keys. It's just funny to me, Micah, how Solo went from like the silent enforcer in the bloodline to basically becoming a manager. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, he has to do all the talking, all the
He's a
figuring.
manager. He was supposed to be what Jacob Fatu is now. He was supposed to be that, but he just I don't know. At least he's doing something on the show. But yeah, I'm fine with the feud for Royce to have Solo and him, as long as it doesn't go 4 or 5 months. It's fine for a little stopgap for Royce Keys. But yeah, a great main event, by the way.
Yeah,
Like Royce and Gunther never has a bad match, but they worked well together and really good showing from Royce. And yeah, that's how we ended SmackDown with Gunther standing tall and grabbing the camera and trash talking. And out of nowhere, Cody Rhodes, not wearing the suit, Micah. He's in a tracksuit this time. Comes out there, gives Gunther a crossroads, and then credits roll. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
babyface, by the way, attacking the heel after.
Cody must pose, pal.
Roles don't matter on SmackDown. We
Nah.
just do wrestling here. But we move
That's so
on.
antiquated, Micah. We don't do heels and baby faces.
Yeah, they're just guys. They're just stars. But we'll move on to the Monday Night Raw on Netflix this past week, which featured the Bloodline to start us off. Which, how
Are they
funny!
the Bloodline still?
I mean, they might as well be in spirit.
Okay. All
That's
right.
why I wrote on my page here, Bloodline Shenanigans, now on Raw. So as you said, to set the table here, Jacob basically calls out Roman in
Well,
light of
before that,
everything that happened last week.
Roman got to the show on time. When's the last time we've seen that? Usually Roman pulls up about 9:30, 9:45.
We were there. We remember SmackDown.
But he got to the show on time. And then Jacob Fatu beats him to the ring to call him out to the ring.
I
So
did like
what if
that.
Roman didn't get here on time? Would Jacob not have gone out there?
Well, he just would have, had egg on his face waiting for waiting for Roman in the
Waiting for two
backstage area.
hours. Waiting for 2 hours back there.
I mean, that's how they used to be on SmackDown. They would come open the show up. Roman, wherever you're at, I'll find you before the end of the night. And then you wouldn't see Roman pull up 9:45. Aura walks out of the car, comes out, acknowledge me. You know where to find me, LA Knight. And then he would just come out like the last 5 minutes of the show.
At that point, man, just skip the show. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Can you imagine showing up your shift 5 minutes before it's time to clock out?
I wish.
Yeah.
Can I still get paid?
Oh, yeah, you can pay.
Well, Jacob came out to the ring, basically just called out Roman. We get a back and forth between him and the Usos. Tensions boil over. The hothead Jay does what he typically does and lets his emotions get the best of him. And Jimmy, on the other hand, tries to play peacemaker. But all of this culminates in a bloodline beatdown of Jacob Fatu, and then eventually the declaration of tribal combat at Clash in Italy. Sorry. What are those? Adverbs? Too many adverbs, pal. That may not even be the right thing. I didn't like grammar in high school. But regardless of all that, we've got tribal combat at Clash in Paris, Ryan. How did you feel about the segment, and how do you feel about that stipulation?
And they're not in Paris, pal. They're in Italy, ain't they?
Oh, yeah. Well,
One of those. They're clashing.
Somewhere
They're
across the
clashing across
Atlantic.
the pond. Yeah, across the pond, they're in there. Now I actually thought this was a great segment, but I'm just hoping, and I do have hope here, that it just doesn't turn into like interference city from the Usos in this match with Fatu and Roman. But they've been clean so far with Roman's matches. Since being back with the Usos really haven't been interfering in any of Roman's matches. So I do have hope, but yeah, great segment to kick off the show. And I might say we get a little hyperbolic on the show, Micah, saying, greatest this, greatest that. But I think this is Roman's best or greatest feud since that Cody feud he had going into WrestleMania 40.
Oh, yeah, easy. And I think
Yeah.
Jacob is a very good opponent for Roman in that regard to have a feud with. We talked about during the WrestleMania build, I don't know how you don't make it work with Punk, but typically Roman's best stuff is the stuff that involves his family. I don't know if it's just some type of chemistry they have.
He chooses to show up every week for them, but he didn't bother to show up every week for CM Punk feud.
Yeah, for WrestleMania, nah, can't do it.
When The Rock was standing side by side with him, he was,
Yeah.
I'll be there when I can.
Bi-weekly.
Rock was there more than him.
Just crazy statement, right? But yeah, I enjoyed it as well. We'll move on to the street fight match between Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which again, and we saw one with Dom at WrestleMania. Listen, I'm fine that they brought back Finn with the tights and his old stuff, and the split for the Judgment Day was needed, even though they still exist now, just outside of, uh, outside of Finn isn't in there anymore. But the Judgment Day, man, you remember that trick in like elementary school they would teach you where like if you cut a certain part of the chocolate bar, like you still have the same amount of chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Is that not what the Judgment Day feels like? Like, I swear, man, this group has been going on for how long now? Like almost 5 years?
They were a thing when Edge was there. So we were recording the podcast and they were already on the main roster 6 months.
So, I mean, what group has lasted 5 years and has felt this meaningless?
I hate to do this, but the New Day, maybe.
Well, towards the back half, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. Man, everything would have been fine if this would have just been over at WrestleMania. Like Finn would just stop interacting with the Judgment Day. But it's still going on.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the blow off. They had the demon there. Wouldn't you think that's it? WrestleMania?
You
No?
would think.
Okay, all right. I'm fine with Finn and JD having I'm blanking on the word here, Mike. A trio of matches. One match and then another one won another match and then they had a tiebreaker. I'm fine with that. Give them a trilogy. I don't know why I blanked on the trilogy word. Getting late. But a good trilogy match, okay, fine, whatever. But having Dom get back involved means that we're not done with the Dom and Finn situation. So Judgment Day must feud with somebody for 8 months at a time.
And that's the thing. They spent so long teasing the Finn turn, and now it's just like overplayed. And I don't think anybody wants to see any of these people involved with each other anymore. So I don't know who this is for. As far as the match goes, I thought it was pretty good. I like the
Oh
finish
yeah.
with the trash can. I thought they did great. It's just the basis
They were
for
burning the
why
house
we're
down.
still having this match.
Yeah, they burned the house down, but it's just while they were burning the house down, a man showed up in the house and they continued to burn it down, but now we're going to another house to burn that down, and we're just going to continue to burn down all these houses, Micah. We're burning down the whole neighborhood.
Don't call Hangman.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, this is
Oh,
a thing that we've criticized with AEW before, where it's just like, it feels like the blow off is here and it's not, and they just keep going for no reason. So we're gonna
forever.
call it out here too. We call it down the middle, pal.
Yeah.
Speaking of things going on forever, we had the Obafemi Open Challenge
Oh God.
and the return
Mm.
of the Beast incarnate. Brock Lesnar has returned. The retirement was false. They tried to write me off. Brock didn't write back. So again, we're continuing with things that maybe should have ended at WrestleMania, probably
Well,
could
hold up
have.
now. Let me ask you something first here, Micah. You have a problem with them, quote unquote, retiring Brock Lesnar and him returning 2 months later?
No, I think the hilarity of it is the best part. Brock has already fulfilled the pro wrestling trope of never retiring until you're dead. In record time, actually. I think this might surpass like some of Funk's retirements.
You got to respect the willingness that WWE went to sell this to. They played a promo package of Brock's career and they moved him to the alumni page. But yeah, they went to great lengths to make you think that he was retired, and then all of a sudden he appears, attacks Obafemi, and the internet melts down, man. I don't know if you were following this, Mike, but a lot of people were angry that they got worked. And it's like, children, are you new here? That's the beauty of pro wrestling.
It's what we do.
It's what we do, but it's not supposed to be, oh, this is not how I fantasy booked it, so it's terrible. Sometimes it's fun to get worked. Sometimes it's fun that you don't know where the story's going. And if it means that Oba's going to have a marquee feud going into SummerSlam or whenever this is over, I don't know. It may go another. It may be just this next pay per view and then that's it. I don't know. But we don't know where it's going to go. And it gives Obafemi a marquee match at a very marquee show, a stacked marquee show, I might add, with that Clash show. They got the WWE title on the line, the world title on the line. I think Becky's in action. And now we got Oba and Brock. I mean, it's a stacked card so far. So what is the problem here, Micah? What is all the hang up on people being angry that Brock didn't retire? I just don't understand that, Micah. People hate being worked that much. You don't have to know about everything, pal.
I think part of it is the obvious with Brock, that obviously the man has done things in the past that are not good, and people felt like we were past that with him retiring. And I'm with you. I 100% get that. I'm not saying that you should excuse what Brock did. At the same time, are we really shocked? Like, I don't understand. Like, people were fine with him having a WrestleMania match, but now that he's back, it's, oh my God, like, I thought we were done with this guy, and now we're back. I think some of that, like you said, is people got worked, and they don't like it, and they're having a hard time accepting that, which is, this is a common thing in wrestling. Like, I made a joke about it that Brock fulfilled the trope, but how many times have we seen this as like a angle as well? I mean, you saw Mark Henry do it, you saw AJ Styles do it, and now you see Brock Lesnar do it. This is a thing that they do. But on the contrary, I don't want to see a trilogy with Oba. I don't want to see Oba lose at Clash in Italy. So the only way to make this work is to do Brock and Oba at Clash in Italy and Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam. That's the only way. And one last point, Ryan, and I'll pass this off to you. I just want to say that I was right once again, and everybody should eat crow, because I told everybody that these open challenges are lazy and they better put something with Oba or he's going to get lost in the shuffle. They better give him a feud. They better give him something to sink his teeth into, because these open challenges are lazy and they don't result in anything. And WWE does a lazy move and brings back Brock Lesnar because they didn't have anybody else for Oba to fight with. And but yet I'm wrong. I'm wrong. And at the same time, I see these people, well, they could have given him like Carmelo Hayes or Ilya, or what about Mike Santana? Okay, and then you're gonna be what you like. You're gonna do what all fans do and complain. Oh my God, how could they make Ilya Dragunov lose? Oh my God, LOL TNA. They just lent their world champion to go lose. There's no win-win scenario. That's why open challenges are stupid. So
Yeah.
there's my talking point about that. And I just, what did you expect? I knew when they didn't give Oba a feud coming out of WrestleMania, it would be something stupid like this. Their option was Drew McIntyre. I think he's the only guy that I could have seen in a back and forth with Oba coming out of WrestleMania, and they didn't go with it. So I'm really not shocked.
I can see Oba winning against Brock, and they do have, well, supposedly they have that show in Saudi coming up. That's the King of the Ring, and they've been having that stipulation as the King of the Ring winner challenges the champion at SummerSlam. I can still see them going all in with Oba and having him win the tournament and him challenging for one of the world titles at SummerSlam. I can still see that happening. But if he does drop a fall to Brock and Clash, I don't think it's the end of the world.
I feel like it's lazy. I didn't really want to see it a second time.
What are they
Now
gonna do?
that's what I was about to say. I think there's some fruit left on the tree because they only had like a 4-minute match. So if you have a more contested 8-minute sprint, I'm fine with it, and like I'll be
Oh,
there. You know what I mean?
crowd
But
gonna be rocking for that show because it's an indoor arena, and you know how they get across the pond, Micah. They love to
oh
sing,
yeah,
so
I
I'm
do
sure we'll
love
get
to
a lot of
sing.
songs before they probably do a stare off or stare down, and then I'm sure it'll be a very raucous atmosphere when these two are staring across from each other.
It will, and that's why like people hate Brock, but then the live audience they love him. Like people went crazy for him when he came back.
Oh
And
yeah, I
again,
love Brock.
yeah, I saw that too. Listen, a lot of people cannot separate the person for the wrestler. And so when I see something online that's like Brock Lesnar is what people think and say about Jey Uso, brother, just drop the fandom. You don't know what you're talking about. Go like read a book or get a different hobby, something. This one's just not for you.
You know, the worst thing the thing that ruined Brock Lesnar for me a little bit was him taking a picture with Tom McDonald. That's the only part I had a problem with.
You talking about recently or
Yeah, did you see
all
that?
time? I did see that.
All time, all time.
Yeah, it's
That was
that
that tipped the scale for me.
that was
I was
the
like, all right,
straw that broke the camel's
let's
back.
let's bump him off the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that was a very but it's kind
I
of
just
on par.
I think in my head canon, Micah, I think he just probably didn't know who that was. Guy asked for a picture, and Brock said, "Oh yeah, why not?"
No, I think he
And
definitely knew who it was.
Tom McDonald went on Twitter and said, "Hey, Brock Lesnar said that I'm his favorite artist."
I
I don't
think he
know.
definitely knew who it was and was like,
Man, do
"Tom,
you really
you
think
tell the
Brock
truth."
is? God, you think Brock is listening to Tom McDonald, man? Who listens to that?
There would I have encountered
I
real
just,
human beings, I will say that.
I just have a hard time believing that people listen to that. I don't know.
You would be surprised.
Oh
I
man,
just I don't get it either. I don't understand, but you would be surprised. I'll just say
all
that. It's a sad state of
right.
affairs. But
Where,
we move
where are
on
we?
from
Are we
Raw.
living in Twilight Zone, man? What's going on here?
Did you
Did
see
the
who
world
got
end?
Did you see who's on the Republican ticket for Alabama? Yes, we are
Oh,
in the Twilight Zone.
I just
and
don't.
an Auburn
Go
football
ahead.
coach in my governor's seat. I will never
You,
stand for this.
he could not even. Tommy Tuberville could not name 3 branches of government. Look it up. He could not. But yet
God
he is going to
almighty.
be our next governor of Alabama.
He
Gotta
doesn't
love it.
live in Alabama either.
He does not.
Typical
Does not.
qualification you need. But not to
Yeah.
get too political and woke on here. We'll move to AEW Dynamite. We'll see what happens with Clash in Italy.
You might
With
have to leave
this,
me here because I did not catch Dynamite.
well, I
So,
really just had one match I wanted to talk about. Most of
okay.
everything kind of leads into the predictions, but if you did not catch Dynamite yet, make sure you go out of your way to check out Tommaso Ciampa versus Mark Briscoe. It was an anything goes match, and I thought this was my favorite match of the week. This was everything it needed to be. It didn't stick around too long. It was balls to the wall. It was a fun plunder match. A couple spots, Ryan, not to spoil it for you or anybody else. There was so Mark came out with a trash can full of weapons because, it's Mark. He's crazy, whatever. And Tommaso got the early momentum here, and he reached his hand down into the trash can and pops his hand in a rat trap. Thought that was funny.
All right.
Maybe not for you, Ryan. And this also was not like this was not a mouse trap. This is a rat trap. You know the sticky pads they sell at Walmart that they have the small sticky pads, right, for mice. Then they have the other sticky pads, and they have like rats and snakes on there that it's for catching. And I'm like, man, we really took a step up in like what animals we're getting rid of. But this was a giant New York sewer rat style traps. There was a cheese grater in this match that was used. I thought it was pretty expertly done too, because to the to an eye like ours that's been watching wrestling, Mark bladed before, and so then when the cheese grater was put on him, he was already just immediately pouring blood. So I thought that was a good spot as well. I also appreciate that when Mark was doing some things to set up some of the weapons that he was going to use, like a barbed wire table, he was going back to Ciampa to put hands on him, to keep him down. It wasn't like Ciampa was just staying over there for 15 minutes while the spot was getting set up. And then Ciampa eventually took control as well. The finish was good. And like I said, it felt like maybe 13 to 15 minutes for a plunder match. So overall, I thought it was pretty good. My match of the week. If you didn't catch it, go check it out. The reason I mentioned the chicken earlier is because during the commercial break, I only saw this on Twitter. I guess Mark had brought a stuffed like chicken to the match in the trash can or something like that. He's a chicken farmer. So Tommaso like took the
No,
chair and beat up a chicken or
wait a
the
minute.
stuffed chicken.
No, wait. That's what they called Jay Briscoe. They called him chicken, right?
Oh, maybe that was it then. I thought it was because he was a chicken farmer. It was just like a little gag.
It could be that, but you said that Tommaso started throwing a chair shot at the chicken.
He did. He put it in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
I think he hit it with a chair shot, and then he hit it with like his code breaker finish.
Okay. Well, maybe that represents I don't know. Deceased brother. I don't know.
It's a little corny, I'll admit, but when we're talking about gingerbread men and comparing it to stuffed chickens, I guess it's pro wrestling.
Why
What
can't
can we
both be
say?
bad? Both can be
I
bad.
mean, yeah, but at least it was during the commercial break, so I can't hate too much. But we'll move on to predictions, Ryan. We've got 2 shows this weekend.
Oh my.
And strap in, pal. We'll be here next weekend as well for the reviews of these shows. So make
Will
sure
we
you
make
come back
it?
next week.
Are you sure we're gonna
Well,
make it?
I don't know. I'm on vacation this weekend too, so it's going to be interesting trying to catch all these before Tuesday. But Ryan, we've got for the Intercontinental Championship, Penta versus Ethan Page.
I think this is Ethan's right here. I'm going to Ethan Page.
I also love that decision. I think Ethan is red hot. Oh, one thing we didn't mention was his sit down with Michael Cole. I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, great stuff. Great,
I think,
great. How the kids say character work there.
yeah, I think he has a great just ability. I don't really see any holes in this game. So here I'm going to go Ethan as well. I think it's time. In a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship, the Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Street Profits.
This is interesting. I think they've been sowing the seeds, and the sudden appearance of the Street Profits out of nowhere, I think we're finally gonna get it, Micah. We finally get the Montez Ford singles run that we've been clamoring for. He will turn his back on Angelo Dawkins in this match after they lose the division.
You really think so?
I think it has to be. Why else would they bring these guys back to television? And an angle with the Vision when they were supposed to be on SmackDown?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that, but
Bro, it's just so out of nowhere. Like, really? They're Street Profits? Where do they come from? And they thrust them right into a main event program, and then Montez is having the kind of sowing the seeds of distress with him and with Dawkins. I don't know if you caught the segment, but I think it was it Ford that got speared by
yeah.
Braun Breaker? Okay, well, he was, reading the riot act to Angelo Dawkins saying that we can't get involved with Seth anymore. And then out of nowhere, Braun Breaker comes and spears Montez Ford. So that sows more seeds of the heel turn there, Micah. I can see it. He is the star. Montez Ford is the star. I've been here for years banging my head on my desk, Micah, saying that Montez Ford should be the guy to the spotlight. He could be that next guy. And it seems like a bunch of other guys have surpassed him. And it's now or never. There are a lot of guys that have moved up, and the spot for who's going to be that next number one guy is wide open. And why can't it be Montez Ford?
I mean, I agree with you. I've been on the bandwagon as well. I'm just if it happens, great. I have to admit I would be a little shocked if it does happen.
They've been sowing the seeds though, Micah. What else would you sow the seeds of distress like that for? Unless they swerve us and get Big Dawkins to turn his back on Montez Ford.
I hadn't even thought about that possibility. I don't know. I figured honestly it was just to give the tag team division a shot in the arm, and it may be, but I will go the Street Profits, just to zig where you zag a little bit. I think I'm just predicting it's a shot in the arm in the tag division, though I do like your fantasy booking better than mine. Following that, we've got a 6-woman tag team match. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. What an all-star team. Holy cow. Versus Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab.
The outhouse to the penthouse. I'm gonna go with the heels here. More heels, pal. Let's. I think Jade will get the pinfall here, and we'll get one more Rhea and Jade match. Maybe at maybe not at Clash. No, actually, it is. Hasn't that been announced for Clash? Rhea and Jade. I think it has.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure that's been announced. So yeah, I'm like 80% sure that's going to be on that Clash show as well. So I can see Jade winning here, and then we get one more match with them at Clash.
I could see it.
So,
I'm also going to go Jade here just because I think maybe if they're going to continue this feud, Jade has to get a win at some point. However, they're not doing a very good job of booking Rhea's run as of late, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Following that, we've got Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka in just a regular singles match, though it was rumored that it was going to be for the title, but evidently it is not for the championship.
wait, say that again? It's not for the championship?
It's just a regular singles match.
Yeah, I'm fine with Becky just beating Soul. I don't have a problem with that. So yeah, hopefully Becky wins, but I think Soul's gonna win. So yeah, shout out her.
You're out.
I just
on
ain't
her
been
already?
impressed. Yeah, I haven't been impressed. Did you see the promo she had on Monday?
I thought it was fine.
You thought it was fine. See, that's the problem.
I
No,
think
you're the
Becky
problem.
outclassed. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're the problem. You over here just giving out, oh, just fine. No, man, the promo just sounded like she was reading from a script. I hate that. I hate the NXT sanitized version of promos that they let a lot of these guys come up with.
I don't know. I mean, Becky outclassed her. I just didn't think it was like horrible.
She didn't sound like she belonged. She sounded like a fan out there.
Oh,
Like
come on.
Lyra. That's why I can't get behind Lyra, man. She sounds like a fan.
She's better promo than Lyra.
I don't know. It's close.
I think Soul gets the win here. I guess you could call this an eliminator match. It's typically what AEW calls it.
Okay.
They may run
All
that
right.
back at Clash in Italy, or they may push it all the way to SummerSlam, or
Push
nah,
to the
probably not
pre-show.
that far.
Go to the
Come on.
pre-show with it. Yeah.
But oh, go ahead.
Did you predict? Yeah. Did you predict Soul?
Yeah, I'm going Soul.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go.
We'll see what happens. We'll see who gets snatched. For the women's tag team championship, we've got Paige and Brie Bella versus the Irresistible Forces.
We're still going.
Yeah, five match card, pal. Got to hit our 5.
All right. No, that would be too many heels. I'll go with the Bella and Paige connection, even though that has been a disaster. I don't know what the heck has happened, but Brie Bella is god awful. Man. She's bad, and Paige ain't been much better. I'm not giving her a pass either.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, I hadn't really been locked into a lot of what they've been doing.
It has been a disaster. Every tag, just watch one random tag match they've had, Micah. It's just it's bad. It's clunky. They are a step behind. They're moving in quicksand. It just doesn't work. Yeah.
Well,
you can definitely tell they're from a different era.
Yeah. And it's crazy because Paige is like only 33. I got 2 heels and 2 baby faces up to this point, so I'm gonna go Irresistible Forces just to let the 3 heels win, and then I think the reason they lose is because we get a returning Nikki Bella, then we get heel Bellas and babyface Paige, and maybe we run that into a little angle or something, and maybe SummerSlam, AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bellas. Run it back for old time's sake.
I don't hate that. No. I mean, match probably wouldn't be nothing, but feud could be entertaining.
Yeah. But we move on to some real graps. We go all the way to Queens, New York, and Louis Armstrong Stadium, which is a sellout as of right now for AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. To start us off, and I feel
What's
like
the gate, Mike? What's the gate?
Not sure yet, pal. Over 1 million. Because of Big Hebrew. I feel like we've seen this match, but AEW International Championship match, Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Have we seen it?
I feel like we have, right?
I don't think we have.
Am I
tweaking? They've been building to it for a couple of years.
I'm about to say, or has it just been building forever?
They've been staring at each other for 2 years, but they haven't got it on, Micah. They've just been, eyeing each other down. So I don't know.
No, hold on. Okay, they had a match in December. That's what it was.
Did they?
I think it was for the Continental Classic. And since then, they've been, oogling and ogling.
They've been giving that look, huh? Just giving each other the look.
I think it was Okada.
The tension's too much, Micah. They're getting it on.
You could cut it with a knife.
So you're going with Takeshita here, Micah?
I think it has to be. For the love of God, it has to be, right? I'm
Well,
I'm
they
so over it with
they
2026 Okada, man.
they do love Okada, but I think Takeshita gets the win too.
Once again, God, I hope so. Following that, for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, in a match I did not necessarily think we were going to revisit, a tag team I Quit match. FTR versus Cage and Cope, and if Cage and Cope lose, they must retire as a tag team.
Okay, don't don't tease me with a good time now. Yeah, I guess they have to go Cope and Cage here.
Yeah. One last run. They lost the last one that I thought they were going to win. I'm not sure how good this match is going to be because I wasn't really impressed with the last one that went like 25 minutes or maybe 35 minutes. I remember it being long. But FTR, I'm assuming, is going to do the job, and Cage and Cope will be your new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Building up to that 4-way TLC match, pal, with the New Day, Cope and Cage, the Bucks, and FTR. That we're doing, Micah? And
Is
Wembley.
anyone in that match under 40? Cash?
Is he? Okay.
Oh, 39. Wait.
There you
He
go.
just turned 39.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. What else do you need? Don't be
Yeah.
ageist, Micah.
Oh, here we go. We
They're
can only
having
be
fun.
ageist to WWE. Can we get the Hurt Syndicate back in the tag division? Speaking of the Hurt Syndicate,
Who?
following that, are those guys still in contract? Stadium Stampede match: Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, and the Elite, Kenny Omega, Jungle Jack Perry, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. What the dog doing? Versus
Oh
the
my God.
Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona, the Don Callis family, Mark Davis and Andrade El Idolo, and the Dogs. Say it with me, ladies and gentlemen. The Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay. What an amalgamation.
How did we get here, man? I took 1 week off of Dynamite. How did we get here?
Well, Jericho has an issue with Ricochet and the Demand. Just Jericho, no Chris.
Okay.
The Hurt Syndicate have had issues with the Demand.
Wasn't that like 7 months ago? How long ago was that?
Yeah, they got hurt.
I don't think has Bobby had a one-on-one match with Ricochet. I don't think he has.
I'm thinking maybe it's because Bobby got hurt, and that's why they're involved in this. And then the Elite, Jack Perry has an issue with Mark Davis because he took his national title. And I think the Bucks have issues with the Dogs. And Kenny is just there for fun. And Andrade was a paid favor.
Paid favor. Isn't he a part of that family?
Yeah. I think Ricochet paid him, actually.
Okay. Why didn't the booker, the promoter, pay what's him called? What who did he pay? Ricochet paid who?
Andrade. El Idolo.
He paid Andrade. Why didn't Tony Khan pay Andrade?
But who's your pick, Ryan? Are we taking the Jarrah Hurt Elite or the Demand Callis Dogs?
Does pinfall work in this match? Is that what it is?
I think so.
Okay.
Think so. I don't know specifically.
All right. Is this cinematic or is this all in the arena?
I think it's both. What? Well, no. the first one, well, this is a stadium. Okay, I think that's what it was. This is technically a stadium, so I think this will be in the arena. I thought maybe they may shoot it off-site or something since it was
Where are they gonna
specifically
go?
titled Stadium Stampede. I don't know. If they're in Queens,
MetLife Stadium?
I'm about to say MetLife is down the
Nah,
road.
they can't. They can't go there. I'm sure WWE has like an exclusive contract with MetLife.
The ghost of
I
Aaron
don't know.
Rodgers' Achilles is somewhere on that field. I wouldn't put any wrestlers out there. I'm
Can't they
gonna
just go?
personally.
Oh, go ahead.
I think I'm gonna go the Jera Syndicate Elite.
Yeah, just go with the baby faces. Why not?
Yeah, this.
I
I'm
have
not
no
even
interest
sure
in this
what to
match though.
expect.
I have no interest in this.
I like some of the parts. I like the Hurt Syndicate. I like Kenny. I like
It's
Ricochet.
too many
Honestly,
parts though.
yeah, yeah.
It
I
doesn't
was
even
hoping.
matter if you like some parts of this. It's just too many parts moving together. Like how would you be able to keep track of this?
It's a good
I don't know. Maybe
question.
we're being too negative. I don't know.
No, listen.
I
5-on-5,
don't
I
like
can
this.
get behind, but 7-on-7, it's
You're
gonna be
pushing it.
interesting.
Yeah, there's not enough. What are they gonna have? Split screen?
God, quad screen or sextuple screen, probably.
Oh Lord.
Uh, Anyways, moving on. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Tekla versus Hikaru Shida versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander.
This is so random. I guess you gotta go to Tekla here because the multi-man match, and none of the other ladies have have really done anything, and they don't really have the same faith in any of those ladies that they do in Tekla. So I'll go with Drunk Auntie to retain the title here, Micah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be either her or Stat. I can see one of those, but I think I'm gonna
Why would
still go with Tekla
why
and
would they take the
maybe.
title off Stat if they would just give it back to her in a four-way match? We
I
can
mean,
just have a
this is
rematch.
true, but didn't Stat win it from Tony in a four-way match?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
So maybe they'll try and play off that. I don't know. I think we get the return of Monet after this match, though.
She's got, she's under contract until 2027, so she could be on the way out the door.
Monet?
Yeah, she said that her contract ends in 2027. It was only a 3-year deal.
Well, she's still got a year and a half. I'm sure she'll come back at some point. No, never mind. Monet returning doesn't make sense because they've got the Owen Hart Cup. So, uh, well, now that Willow's out, maybe, but we'll get there. I'm also gonna go Tekla for this match. For the men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal, Samoa Joe versus Will Ospreay.
Oh boy, I wonder who's gonna win this one. Yeah, I'll go Will.
Yeah, that's the smart, safe choice. The match, I don't know. I like Joe. We'll see what
his
happens.
best his best days are behind him. At least we
Yeah,
know Joe's not gonna do the Spanish fly off the top of the cage and get right
I
up. At least we know Joe's
yeah,
not doing
that's what I'm saying. Maybe Joe can salvage some of
that. Yeah,
this.
maybe he can grab him by the reins and pull him into a believable match, or even a good match.
Well, another men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal: Bandito versus Swerve Strickland. You Matter of fact, you didn't see this because you haven't seen Dynamite yet. This brawl
Huh.
segment, oh man, they were moving in quicksand. It was so bad.
I think Swerve was a little off step because he's been he's been pretty much not seen for the last couple months.
They just They were in there forever. There was no security. It just felt
Was the crowd going
long.
insane?
No, they were quiet. That's also what didn't help it. But I think the
But
obvious choice has to be Swerve. I mean, they've
oh
been
god,
doing all this for him, so like, why would they take it away from him?
when is that? When is it time to admit that that's been a failure?
We're getting close. I won't write it
I've
off
been there.
yet, but we're getting close.
I've been there last 2 years, but Bobby Lashley has been under contract, ladies and gentlemen, and yet he can't get in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. We can put Bandito in there. Why is Bobby not in it?
I don't know. There's other there's why is Jack Perry in it and Bobby
Wasn't
Lashley
Shelton in
isn't?
it last year?
I'm not. Yeah, I
Why?
think he was. I think he was like a first round exit.
Oh, of course. But why is Bobby not in this? Why does Bobby not care about the world title?
I don't know. Why did they get stupid over and then they just weren't using them anymore? Makes you wonder, huh? No reason.
Yes. No.
Swerve's the obvious choice here, especially with everything they've been doing. For
Sure,
the
why not?
women's, much to your chagrin, for the women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal, Athena versus Mina Shirakawa.
Mina might finally get a win.
Oh, come on. Certainly to God not, right? Has
I
to be
don't know.
Athena.
This is not ROH Athena, Mike. This is AEW Athena. Her powers get nerfed when she comes at their Dynamite and the pay-per-views.
It's like oh man, who was that NBA player? Was it James Harden at one point? There was
Get the
somebody that was
playoffs.
like their like 3-point percentage was like 45% at home. But then away games it was like 23% or something like that. I can't remember who it was now off the top of my head.
That's a pretty on par description of Athena, though.
Yeah, evidently it's the way they see her, but I'm gonna go with Athena because it shouldn't be anyone but Athena. But what do I know? For the AEW Continental Championship, John
Yeah.
Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly, a match that we saw on
Oh
Dynamite, but
no,
this time it will have no time limit.
no, this is happening.
Oh yeah, pal. We saw it on Dynamite
Oh,
too.
recently?
Tonight.
Oh no. Come on, man.
It went to a time limit draw.
Ah,
Same
okay.
gimmick they
All
ran
right.
last pay-per-view for Moxley,
Well,
mind you.
Moxley tapped out to O'Reilly, so he's getting that win back, pal.
Moxley wins until morale improves.
No time limit. Can you imagine a Moxley match with no time limits?
I think the good thing is I don't think they can bleed in New York, right?
Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
The athletic commission still a thing? I don't know.
We might have limitations. I'm just not feeling this, man. I saw it tonight and I don't really want to see it again. And
Yeah, I don't want to see either guys.
yeah, I don't know. But for the main event, oh, I'm sorry. I have to actually predict. I'm also going Moxley because him and Okada are in a boat race to see who can lose less. But
Who can
the
drive more
title,
viewers away?
yeah, that too. Title versus hair match for the AW World Championship. Darby Allin versus MJF.
I think Darby wins this.
Really?
I do. The street's been talking, Micah, and apparently it's something with those new hair treatments that you have to shave your head off. Shave your head off. Shave your hair for, I guess, the whole entire treatment to work. So I think I think we're getting Darby to beat MJF, and he's gonna be bald.
Nah, he took time off like last year. He could have went bald then.
But he's such a carny. He probably wanted to make it a hair versus hair match. That is the old school mindset, Micah.
Yeah,
I know I need my head
see it.
shaved. Book a hair match.
I'm not gonna say it's out of the realm of possibility, but I think the Owen Cup winner is gonna be Osprey, which I guess at this point he is heel since he's working with the Death Riders. So I don't know, but I'm gonna go MJF just because I feel like things are better in AEW with MJF on top. People may not agree with that, but we shall see. It'll be a loaded weekend. We should be back next week with both of these, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how fast we can get all this watched. As I said, I'll be on vacation. So I'm not exactly putting at the bullet point of the vacation to check out AEW Double or Nothing and Saturday night's main event. So we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you check out our socials. It's at Scoop Slammed now. We've changed things around. We're just Scoop Slam, but this is the Scoop Slam podcast. So make sure you check us out. Instagram, TikTok, X/Twitter, whatever they want to be now, and YouTube, and all of your favorite podcast platforms. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Have a good weekend. Enjoy Memorial Day if you are in the U.S. like us. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good one.